I have together with me here special guests and of course a resident and a voter and a strong supporter of the issues in Segambut, Dato' Ambiga, who is here with us. How is Dato' Ambiga involved? During the election, when we had our big ceramah in Taman Tun Dr. Ismail on this Safe Taman Rimba Kiara, Dato' Ambiga was with us from day one, coming together with the other speakers to speak on this issue. And of course, representing all the DAP MPs in Kuala Lumpur today, we have the Member of Parliament for Bukit Bintang, YB Fong Kui Lun. We also have our friend from C4, Centre to Combat Corruption and Cronyism. Presenting the findings today will be Ms. Lalita. DBKL also has 6 zones in Segambut because Segambut is very big. And we always think that Taman Rimba Kiara, people always accuse saying that Taman Rimba Kiara is a Taman Tun problem. But together with us, we have all the chairmen of the 6 zones cutting across Desa Park City side, Manjalara, they are here. Datuk Sri Yap. Then we have Fahan representing Kampung Sungai Penchala and Taman Tun Dr. Ismail. We also have Mr. Ravi representing Damansara Heights, Medan Damansara, Bukit Damansara, they are all here. We also have Dr. Basir representing Duta Mas, SPPK area. We have Encik Ishak representing Mount Kiara, Sri Sina, Sri Bintang, Kampung Segambut Bahagia. And of course, we have Kumar representing the Jalan Kuching side of Segambut, Taman Kokdo, Taman Sejahtera and the rest. So all our chairmen are here. And of course, we have committee members and members of Taman Tun Dr. Ismail Residents Association who are here. We also have communities from the Longhouse, who I can see just now, Mr. Siva Kumar, representing Persatuan Penduduk Rumah Panjang Bukit Kiara, over here. This is a public invitation, so we did a media conference to invite people to come. We also shared it out with all the hikers group. I believe all the hikers are all here, yes. So, very quickly, I will pass the time now to C4 to present their finding on conflict of interest. Okay, and then I will present to you what's on our plate now. So, Lalita, over to you.
I'm Lalita from C4 Centre. I'll be focusing on the web of conflict of interest as well as the progress of the case with MECC. Just to recall the story so far. Okay. The first report was lodged in May 2017 by the TTDI residents, followed by the second report by YB Lim in November 2017. After G14, YB Hannah lodged the third report, and until December 2018, there have been no updates. Why is that so? Okay, if you look at this slide, you can see Yayasan Wilayah Persekutuan. They joint venture via closed tender with Memang Perkasa. And Tengku Adnan is the then chairman of Yayasan Wilayah Persekutuan. He was also the then Minister of Federal Territories. Now, as a Federal Territory Minister, he had direct oversight of DBKL and KL Mayor, and under his watch, the development order was issued to Memang Perkasa. Now, conflict of interest does exist in this case, because Kunan was in power to use his position for his yayasan's benefit. However, under the MACC Act 2009, there's no concrete evidence to indicate he has received any gratification or bribe, or he has abused his position for his personal benefit or corporate benefit or for his family members or business associates. Okay? So that's when Save Taman Rimba Kiara working group, they requested our assistance. They provided us with the relevant documents, and upon deeper investigation, we did find a serious conflict of interest in this dealing. Okay, now we found that the shareholders of Memang Perkasa are Molten Berhad, Tegak Dinamik, and Regal Marvel Construction. Regal Marvel Construction is wholly owned by Molten Berhad. One of the shareholder and director of Tegak Dinamik is Rosmanira Juno. She also happens to be the shareholder and director of Aman Ikhtisas. Okay? Aman Ikhtisas owns 1/3 of the shares in Dataran Harta Jaya, while Tatman Sori holds 2/3 of the shares in Dataran Harta Jaya. Tengku Adnan, he owns majority shares in Tatman Sari Holdings. Now, Tatman Sari Holdings is actually his family business. The directors are his 2 sons, his wife, and his brother. Okay, now you can see they are actually business associates. Can you see the flow? Yeah. They are actually business associates. Now you can see the serious conflict of interest in this case. Now, Kunan cannot claim that it was a coincidence that Rosmanira was his business associate, that he had no direct dealing with her. He dealt directly with Memang Perkasa because she was actually a director from January 2014 onwards. Okay? And the joint venture took place in April. So he knew that she had linked to Memang Perkasa. Okay? It was not a coincidence. All this was pre-planned. This is how they use companies to create proxies and to form joint venture. Now we have concrete evidence to indicate that he has abused his position for corporate benefit and his business associates. It is also interesting to note that Rosmanira was actually a director. She is a director for Jelita Orientasi, who's building Pavilion Ceylon Hill. Okay? And she was previous shareholders for all these 4 companies. Now, the first 2 companies, the shareholder and director is Desmond Lim. And the second last 2 is Cindy Lim. Okay? Desmond Lim is the chairman of Molten, and Cindy Lim is the executive director of Molten. Can you see? So she was being used as a proxy to form joint ventures. So they are all connected to each other. Okay? You can see that they work hand in hand, not only in Taman Rimba Kiara case, but also in other projects. So Kunan, basically, he has abused his position by making these decisions that will provide personal benefit and favoritism for his business associates. Okay? Now, we have released all our findings via our press statement in January 2019. The investigation papers for this case was opened in February, and all documentation and evidence, this much, has been submitted to MACC in March 2019. We are waiting now for MACC to respond. Apparently, Datuk Shukri said in 1-2 weeks' time. So, thank you.
Thank you to C4 and Lalita for the short presentation, but very informative. Thank you. I did not pay C4 any money to do this. You know, they are NGO and they did this because they are passionate about fighting corruption in the past administration and also in the current administration. So thank you so much, C4. I also want to take this opportunity to welcome two other Member of Parliament who have come to support our cause. And that is the former Member of Parliament for Segambut, now MP for Kepong, YB Lim Lip Eng. The DAP MPs for Tan Kok Wai and Teresa Kok are represented by YB Fong Kui Lun and YB Lim Lip Eng. And of course, our friend, our immediate neighbor, YB Fahmi Fadzil, MP for Lembah Pantai. Okay, now it's my turn to do the presentation. Next slide, please. Okay, many people say they say that we are confused about which Kiara Park it is. We are here today to talk about the proposed development at Rimba Kiara. Where is Rimba Kiara? So you have Bukit Kiara, and you also have residents who use Lembah Kiara, where the lake is. Okay, Rimba Kiara is just down the hill where the Longhouse residents live. Okay, so we can see the map. Next. I have also seen media comments, people who support the development. They say, actually Rimba Kiara is not used by people. Not many people go there. A lot of the hikers here, they have done picnic. I've attended so many events there, and these are the events that if you just Google, you'll find all these activities at Taman Rimba Kiara. So it's used by people. Next. Who is who in Taman Rimba Kiara? Since last year until now, so many statements have been made. And that's why, as the Member of Parliament, I decided to call for this town hall so that you can be properly briefed, all the facts, and also to tell the story. Now, you need to know our opponent has very deep pocket, which means they have enough money to constantly go to the media, to produce corporate videos and all that. And we have limited funds. That's why we do town hall like that, so that we can go direct to the people and you can hear and see for yourself. Okay. The one thing that is commonly said is that those who object the development don't care about the Longhouse resident. That is not true. That is a lie. And from day one, we maintain that the Longhouse residents deserve new housing, and we are all for new housing for the Longhouse residents. So if you can see the map, the current site for the Longhouse residents is within the green box. Okay? There are 98 longhouses in the green box. Next to the green box, there is a Hindu temple, and behind the longhouses is Taman Rimba Kiara. Okay? We are all clear? 98 longhouses within the green box. Now, we are for new housing for Longhouse residents. The developer also is for new housing for Longhouse residents. But we say the new house must not go beyond the green box. That means it must not touch Taman Rimba Kiara. Clear? They are for new housing project encroaching beyond the green box. That's where the situation stands today. And the minister in charge has said that he wants to bring this to cabinet. I welcome it because I feel that the minister is not in a good position to make the best decision in this deal. Next slide. Who is who? So Lalita presented just now. We have landowner. BN's time, during the BN's government, they have actually cut the park into half. Can I just go to the next slide, Cindy? Yes. So you can see this is the original Taman Rimba Kiara, 25 acres. 4.4 acres is where the Longhouse footprint is. The rest of it is Rimba Kiara. Okay? And 98 families there. Next. During the Najib's administration in 2014, they cut the park into half, and the cabinet gave title to Yayasan Wilayah Persekutuan. Okay, Yayasan Wilayah Persekutuan is a company limited by guarantee. And who is the chairman of Yayasan Wilayah Persekutuan, who is now the landowner? the FT minister. Okay? So 12 acres now given to Yayasan Wilayah Persekutuan, and they paid premium to government 60 million. Next slide. Immediately after they were given the land title, they signed an agreement with Memang Perkasa, which Lalita presented just now. Okay, it's a subsidiary of Molten Group, and they said that they will come in to help the Longhouse residents by building one block of affordable housing. One tiny block, 350 units. They will give them one unit for free, and the second unit 50% discount. Okay, 98 units. But in exchange, they have this mega project, 8 blocks, completely, it had the potential to wipe out Taman Rimba Kiara because of the density. Now, those of you who use Bukit Kiara, you know, coming down from Bukit Kiara, there's only one road in and out. There is no way we can cope. And their plan at that time was to cut through Taman Rimba Kiara to have new access road. Okay, now we go back to the first, the who's who. Okay, who's who? Okay, landowner now, park cut into half, Yayasan Wilayah Persekutuan. So former FT minister, chairman, now YB Khalid Samad inherited that project. He's correct. Then you have the developer. So Molten owns Memang Perkasa. They come in to build. Okay. During Tengku Adnan's time, Taman Tun Residents Association could not get access to a lot of things, documents and all that. So they took this matter to court. Okay. Now when the new government came in, they had high hope that we would resolve this for the people. Unfortunately, no. And so the court hearing went on, and we lost the court hearing at the High Court level. Okay. But who represented the Yayasan chairman, who's also the FT minister, the same lawyer acting for developer in court? Same lawyer. Okay? And then, of course, landowner, they have everything to profit from this project, Yayasan Wilayah Persekutuan. Then you have FT minister. And then they also have Longhouse residents. There are 3 residents association in the Longhouse community. You have Pertubuhan Penduduk Perumahan Awam Bukit Kiara, which they claim is the original residents association. Then you have a Kawasan Rukun Tetangga, Awam Bukit Kiara. And you also have Mr. Siva there, Persatuan Penduduk Rumah Panjang Bukit Kiara, the second generation. That means their children, the younger generation. Now, Siva and that RA say, no, we do not want this affordable housing. Give us proper housing on the Longhouse footprint. Siva also found out through the affidavits filed in court by the developer that this RA, they say that they have been paid 700,000 ringgit by the developer for repair of the Longhouse. And so Siva and that RA lodged MACC report on this 700,000. Where is it? Nobody knows. And who represents them in court? The former candidate for Barisan Nasional, Jayanti, who stood against YB Lim Lip Eng, represented them in court. And so every time Yayasan does a press conference, they will use them to speak up against me and others for saying we don't care about housing. But from day one, we want housing for them, we want better housing, just not at the expense of selling our park. Okay? On our side, we have the Longhouse residents, the second generation. We have TTDI RA. The TTDI RA fundraise. Residents pay out of their pocket to go to court and fight the case. And I think they should not be fighting this any longer because they voted in a new government who will hear the cries of the people, not just of Taman Tun, but everybody who is here who wants to save the green lung for the next generation. We have Dr. Gurdel Singh representing the residents. And of course, C4 has stepped in when C4 saw the news, took the information, they did their own study. They found the conflict of interest just now. They have presented all to MACC. Okay, and of course, Dato' Ambiga who is here with us, and Save KL Coalition. Okay, they are also with us. Next slide. Next slide. Next. Okay. So this is the conflict of interest that Lalita has presented. They obtain, immediately they sign a joint venture, right, to develop, and they gave them, DBKL issued a development order. Development order is a license for you to build, to construct. And immediately they gave them a development order, 13 July 2017. What is in that agreement? Next. I will just show you, okay, this is the slide I talked to you about. 28 September, we went to court, right? 4 hours of hearing, non-stop, no lunch break, and immediately decision was given, DO valid, they can build. Okay? And then I found out, one day before the court hearing, MACC issued a clearance letter to the developer. One day before the court hearing, before the court declared that the DO is valid, conveniently, MACC issued a clearance letter to say, tidak dapat dibuktikan dan siasatan telah dihentikan. But this was before C4 gave them all the extra information to show them there's conflict of interest. So we are now waiting for MACC to act. And they must act because these are independent parties who have done all the homework for MACC to take action. Okay? And the residents have no choice to continue the case in court. Now, the Court of Appeal will hear this on the 10th of September 2019. Next. Okay, this is in the agreement. Why there is a serious conflict of interest. The Yayasan signing landowner, they say that they will obtain relevant authorities for the development. Who sits on Yayasan also as an ahli lembaga pengarah? The DBKL mayor. So you are landowner, you are also the authority giving the approval. Cannot be. How can? So landowner then sign and say, don't worry, I will help you get all the approval. And then the next day goes to DBKL and issue the approval. Clear conflict. Next slide. Okay. C4 has already asked SPRM to look into why given to Memang Perkasa? Why no open tender? Okay. Conflict of interest issue and also Tengku Anand's company, which Lalita has explained in details. Next. Okay. Since then, we went to see the FT minister and we said, please, there are so many parties involved, let's sit down. All of you say, why go to the press, why go to the press? Sit down and talk. We did that. 17 December 2018, FT minister, please bring all of us to the table, let's sit down and talk. Okay? So who is in there? All the who's who. Just now, we sat down in a joint working committee, but we only had one meeting. And since then, no other meeting. In the meeting, they presented that they want to develop, this is the deal, scaled down version, they say win-win for everybody. We say no, the issue is about encroachment into a public park. You coming down in density means nothing to me if it's an encroachment issue. And the deal in the first place is wrong because of the conflict of interest. So even if you scale down and return me 4 acres, I say no, the whole exercise is wrong. Okay? You cannot rob a person's house and then say, okay, I give you back some goods, I'm going to go away with some goods. And say that's perfectly okay. No. Okay. Next. The allegation. Everybody in social media say, hey, Hannah, stop fighting openly with your colleague. Okay, we voted in, we want unity, stop washing dirty linen in public, stop fighting, just sit down and talk. No WhatsApp. Let me show you why it has come to this stage. And the FT minister also said, come and see me. Why never come and see me? I have photographic evidence to show you. I don't talk, just plain talk, Next. 26 July, first meeting, TTDI RA with FT Minister to tell them, look, we have better housing option. We can look for options to build townhouses. Don't have to go up for affordable housing. Let's build townhouses. The architects in Taman Tun, professionals in Taman Tun draw up professional plans and say, we all help, let's help. Okay, proper townhouses, absolutely possible to build townhouse in the 4.4 acres. Okay. Then on the 20th of August, I met the Longhouse representatives, those who are not for cancellation of the project, to explore the options with them in my office. Next. 22nd October, developers say want to meet me. I say, okay, come to Parliament to meet me when I was in Parliament. Unfortunately, I didn't take photo at the time. But I have witnesses. I have actually met the developer 2 times in Parliament. Okay? Once alone, second time was with the FT minister. Next. I also went down to site. Every invitation I received at the Longhouse community, I will go down and tell them what I'm trying to do. 18 November, Deepawali function. Next. Then the TTDI say, okay, now we have a new mayor appointed. Let's hear them out. Let's do a town hall. And they did organize a town hall 23rd November, which I believe a lot of you attended. Okay, and the FT minister then said, okay, we will form the joint working committee. And joint working committee was formed. Next. First joint working committee meeting, 17 December. We have met so many times, but we cannot agree. And every meeting they'll say, come, it's a scaled down version, which is what they're saying today. Okay? Let us build scaled down version, win-win for everybody, I give you back some park. We say no. If you want to build within the Longhouse footprint. And I watched the press conference. They say, come on lah, TTDI, you unreasonable elite group of people. Okay? You won't move an inch. How come you cannot compromise on the solution? When they first came to see me, they say that we will build townhouse only. Let's just do townhouse because the traffic cannot cope. I say, well, in the event we have to cancel the whole DO, and in the event the government has no money to pay back, okay, can we look for other options? That means allow them to build up. TTDI say, no problem, provided do not encroach into the park. They have tried their best to understand the position of the new government, to be sympathetic, but they say, but don't encroach. This is the furthest we can go. You cannot go beyond the Longhouse footprint. Next. 14 January, they say it's impossible to build within the 4.4 acres, Longhouse footprint. It's not profitable. They cannot cover the money, they say. They cannot recover to build the free houses for the Longhouse residents. I got developer from within Segambut who is passionate to help out. They say it is possible to build within 4.4 acre. Their architect drew up a plan of condominium going upward. And they say you don't have to separate the Longhouse residents, affordable housing, from the rich purchasers who will be coming in. They will all live together, original plot. It is entirely possible. I submitted the alternative plan. We did not just object and didn't do everything. We have done everything to find alternative solution for the new government, and we have talked everything internally, explored all options. Even option to build, White Knight developer came in, I gave it, but it was never mentioned by the FT minister. Next. And then recently, last month, 7 April, I went down again to meet the residents, and I say, this is what I'm fighting for you, so that you don't have to move into affordable housing unit separated. You are the original landlord of the 4.4 acres. You don't have to move out of it and make way for huge condo to come in. You deserve to be on the Longhouse footprint, 4.4 acres. Next. Compensation. No money to pay, you know. I inherited this baby, the FT minister say. How much exactly? The affidavit filed in court shows 115 million paid to these parties. Okay? 97% of this 115 million payment made to government. So we can pay back. And of course, they made contribution to the Longhouse Association, 700,000. It's in their affidavit. Next. This is the proposal by FT Minister. Scaled down version, give it to you, you take it, because this is good for everybody. We don't have to compensate the houses, the longhouse residents get new housing. I give you back some park. What else do you want? This proposal is not good enough for us. Okay, this is not the best housing option for the longhouse residents, number one. I rather they have townhouse, or I rather they own together with others, not separated like this. Okay? Now, why did they refuse to build on the current footprint? Because if they build on the current footprint, maybe the view is the road in front. But if they tilt it like this, maybe they can sell more. Maybe they can sell for better green view because of the golf club there. Maybe they'll make better profit. But I say if your intention and objective in the first place is for housing, put profit aside. This is not charity, you know. If you want to do charity, a lot of other developers can do charity, and people are willing to do that. People are willing, go for open tender. Okay? If Moulton cannot build this, and if it's not profitable for them, 4.4 acres, exit from the agreement, let other developers do it. Others can. And this is our stand. Me, Taman Tun, Longhouse, second generation, we say, build within the green area, the current footprint. Don't encroach. They did, the developer, the landowner brought the media to the site. And they say, we are not touching the park. The park is untouched. It is touched. Anything outside the longhouse footprint is Taman Rimba Kiara. Okay? "50 years down the road, I may not be here, you may not be here. But we have a duty to protect every single last piece of green lung left in Kuala Lumpur for the next generation. We have more than enough condominium in Kuala Lumpur. We have so many projects that cannot be sold. Why do this? Why continue to do this?" Next. So there are now 2 proposals before the cabinet, which the cabinet has to decide. Number 1, cancel the development order, open tender again for anyone to come and help and build on the current footprint. Or, if you want to build townhouse, they did an estimation, it will only cost the government 25 million. And we have spent more than 25 million on other things. It is okay. I think no taxpayers would object to government spending 25 million to finally give these 98 longhouse residents a proper townhouse. Why townhouse? Because affordable housing, you have lift. And we have all been to affordable housing lift. You know, lift often break down. Service and maintenance collection is a problem. So we feel for the senior citizens of the longhouse residents, townhouse is the best way, and also traffic, okay? Low density. So the first option before the cabinet, same like YB Khalid has proposed, cancel the DO, we pay. Pay back the money that they have advanced, government pay them back, okay? Or, next. This is what we say. If the government has no money to pay, okay? If the government has no money to pay, we are willing to consider this. Build within the longhouse footprint, 4.4 acres, don't come out. And let the longhouse resident own the houses together with the rest, live with dignity on their plot. Don't separate them. If you really want to do this, 4.4 acres, they can even have such a big portion of park for themselves, okay, within the current longhouse footprint. This plan has been submitted to the FT Minister, but you have not heard of this anywhere in the news. I have gone there with the White Knight developer, and we say, if you don't want this White Knight developer, do open tender. Best person to come in can build the best housing for the longhouse, 98 people, wins. Everybody is happy. But don't do a secret deal like what they did, giving back to the politicians' own companies. Okay, next. Then they say, well, the Longhouse residents now don't trust anyone from the old admin or the new admin. So the Longhouse residents say, do not tear down our houses. Construct new house first. Let us move in, okay? Temporary rehousing. Then only you can tear down our house to construct. So I work very hard to find alternative for the government, okay? Just down the road from the Longhouse, 290 meters, where the TTDI market is, there is a car park, which we fought very hard to cancel the contract to manage the car park and give it back to the traders. The Traders Association are here too, of the market. They now manage the car park, but we don't have enough car park. So we can build on the car park, multi-story parking facility for taxpayers, for everybody to use, and we can have affordable housing on top. If you don't want to tear down a house first, and this temporary relocation to this site will not disrupt any school students from the Longhouse because it's only 290 meters down the road. The MRT station is next to the market. It's just there. Okay, we don't have to worry about rehousing them in Damansara or anywhere else and disrupting their life. It is entirely possible. When you cancel and when you do an open tender, tell the next person who come in and say, part of this package, the best deal goes to the government who can solve this problem. People will want to bid for this. Okay, this is the temporary rehousing alternative suggested. Next. This is how the townhouse will look like for the 98 houses. Done by professional architects living in Taman Tun. Next. So nice. 25 million. I think this is much better than putting them in affordable housing. Okay, next. So they say government has no money to pay compensation, right? Just a few weeks ago, Bukit Damansara, we went together with YB Fahmi. We did a town hall for Semantan flyover. Same developer as this. They are supposed to construct a flyover where DBKL is supposed to contribute in that deal 134 million ringgit, according to news report, to contribute for that flyover for a private developer. Now, if you can come out, if DBKL can come out with 134 million to help a developer build a flyover, surely you can do 25 million townhouse for the residents, and surely compensation should not be a problem. Yeah. But even if there's a problem, we also give you suggestion already. Build on the current footprint. We are not unreasonable. We came out with so many suggestions, volunteers proposed. Okay, next. Then I'm accused, opposition mindset. Now you're a federal government, you should be pro-development, pro-business. There are many ways to be pro-business. There are many ways to be pro-development. If you fight corruption, all businessmen will have a better future in Malaysia. Opposition mindset, I want to remind Yayasan that I have 10 years of experience being part of the state government of Selangor. We were not opposition, we were part of government in Selangor. 10 years working in the government. I have never been an opposition. I have more experience in government than the FT minister. And from all the evidence presented, I did not just fight. We tried to be reasonable. We propose ideas. And we say, we are willing to compromise a little, build within 4.4 acres if the government has no money to refund. Absolutely reasonable. And we didn't say, no, you cannot do this at all. We proposed so many alternatives. Okay? So opposition mindset, I hope you are satisfied that I don't have opposition mindset. This is good governance mindset. Next. We are friends, why fight? Yes, Khalid Samad is my friend. In fact, when I was in Subang, Khalid Samad came alongside me and protested when the telecom land, utility land was used for commercial development. Khalid Samad stood by my side and protested. Okay? But I believe as public figures, as members of parliament, given mandate by the people, friends can also disagree, and friends must disagree if what we are fighting for is not the best for the people. And fighting to preserve Taman Rimba Kiara is a fight worth fighting for. Okay? Next. Also, they say this Taman Tun are elite people. Elite people don't care about housing. Okay? And they say as though the longhouse is not part of Taman Tun. The longhouse has always been a core part of Taman Tun Dr. Ismail neighborhood. We are together. It's not us versus them. We want the best for them. We want townhouses for them. Why wouldn't anyone choose townhouse over affordable housing? All of us here would choose townhouse, right? Landed, low density. Okay? Next. This is my last slide. This is not the first time the government talk about buying private land to preserve the environment. Bukit Nanas. Just this article is March 1st, 2019. March 1st, YB Khalid Samad said, DBKL will preserve the biggest tropical forest within the city by buying a piece of land in the Bukit Nanas Forest Reserve. Okay, the Star reports that FT Minister revealed that 0.27 hectare land belonged to a private owner who have applied to develop it. We said no. I applaud YB Khalid's stand in this. We rejected the application for the development order so that we can preserve the forest reserve, YB Khalid said. This is a good stand by the FT Minister. But since we turned down the landowner's right to develop the land, we will buy it from him. Buying the land was part of DBKL's wider plan to make KL a low-carbon city. If we have a plan to make KL low-carbon city, townhouse is the best deal. YB Khalid also spoke about the cost of the purchase. Within the 100 million range, we have to be fair to the landowner and go by the market value of the land as it is located right smack at the foot of Bukit Nanas Forest Reserve. He said that the space would be left as a green area. This is the same fight we have here. Same cost to preserve green lung, compensation price almost the same. Why can't we do it here? Why? Because in this case, the developer, the landowner are together, and the landowner happens to be Yayasan Wilayah Persekutuan, who has a stake in this deal. And that's why they cannot. So now, this will go before the cabinet, okay? And the cabinet will consider these two options. Develop within the longhouse footprint, or YB Khalid's version, encroaching, or we cancel the DO. Okay? Now, all of you, I believe, are not just voters of Segambut here. Please go and talk to your cabinet ministers. You have friends who are cabinet ministers. Tell them that this is really a fight beyond the Taman Tun Dr. Ismail neighborhood. This is a fight for Greater Kuala Lumpur. A lot of Selangor residents come here too. Now, if you happen to be a voter in Shah Alam, please convince your member of parliament too to do this for us. Because you know why? This development, not a cent will go into my pocket, not a cent goes into Taman Tun Dr. Ismail RA's pocket. Not a cent goes to Dato' Ambiga or Cynthia Gabriel. We are all here, not for ourselves, but for the next generation of KL residents. So now I invite Dato' Ambiga to say something. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I don't know that I need to say too much more after Hannah's fabulous presentation, entirely fact-based. And you can see that she's been fighting for a while, and you can see that she keeps her word to the voters when she says she's going to fight on the current project. Now, I must disclose at the outset that the minister has called to see Cynthia and myself, and we will be seeing him on Monday, late morning. So to his credit, he has asked to see us. We will be going to see him on Monday morning. So if you have any other input that you'd like me to have or anything else you'd like me to say, apart from what Hannah has said, please let me know. Now, I am a believer that as far as possible, the government should honor their contracts. But that doesn't mean all contracts should be honored, particularly when it's tainted with illegality and when that contract is not in the public interest. Then it is my personal belief, and here I'm not speaking as a lawyer, I'm speaking as a voter, as someone who really cares about preserving the environment and preserving the very few green lungs that still exist in KL. So it is my belief that this is one of the projects but that must be stopped. My concern is this, that it is not even being considered as an option. I know we may not have all the facts, all the answers, but we would like the Attorney General to look at the legality of this contract. In my view, and I believe that many people have written into the press, including a former Court of Appeal judge, who I think is here today, Justice Anandam, just imploring the FT minister to consider calling off this contract. Now, the FT minister mentioned the ECRL. Look, even ECRL, we're carrying on, et cetera, et cetera. But those projects have a public interest element. There is some benefit to the public for it carrying on. The question that needs to be asked here is who benefits from this contract? Only one person or one entity, the developer, and of course, who is connected with the Yayasan. How does the public benefit, please? I don't see it at all. In fact, it is a problem for the public. And to come out and say, and these are the things I will be telling YB Khalid, to say, look, you should compromise. But why? What is the benefit to you to compromise? What is the benefit to the public to compromise? Zero. No benefit whatsoever. The longhouses, we are all clear. We want those residents to have the kind of accommodation that I would say Hannah has suggested, the town hall accommodation. So that is not an argument. Don't use the longhouse residents argument. And if you look at the Yayasan, actually, what is their aim? The aim is to help the poor, is to help those in need. It is a welfare kind of organization. And yet, who benefits from this? And that is the one question that must surely determine what they must do with this project. That is one question. The other, of course, is that it is, in our view, from what has been produced by C4, tainted by illegality. It is not a project that we should even morally consider proceeding with. Now, the other thing is that YYP has been used from the evidence that has been presented to us as a vehicle for corruption. That vehicle must go. Because when you keep it going, when you keep it alive, then you are sending the wrong message. You are keeping a vehicle for corruption alive with no any guarantees that it will not be used again. Now, I'm not suggesting anyone's using that vehicle now for that purpose, but PH is not going to be government forever, may not be government forever. I hope they will at least come back for another term, but you need to build institutions and bodies that can sustain, that will remain for the people, that cannot be abused in any way. And that is something that needs to be considered. Now, so at the end of the day, MACC has to do its job. I actually fail to understand why that investigation has not moved, because that will determine whether this contract ought to proceed. So the MACC investigations must carry on. There must be a re-look at YYP and the fact that the minister is chairman. Now, it doesn't take rocket science to work out the conflict of interest there. Clear conflict of interest. So, and what is the need to continue that? And that is something else I will be putting to the FT minister. Why are you continuing this bad habit in Yayasan? Why are you continuing with that? Is one of the things I will ask. And these are all transparency issues. This is why C4 is in on it. Very clear-cut what C4 has shown us. And you look at the way they build the network of companies so that it isn't obvious, the conflict isn't obvious. But that's the way it's done. So here again, I think MACC must be called upon to get on with it. And my own view is there must be a moratorium on this project, at least until the MACC findings are complete, the investigations are complete. Don't move on it now. Because we are all interested in transparency, and the government is interested in transparency, I hope Cabinet will make that decision. Hold on, no rush on this one, and we will let the MACC complete its investigations. I know that that means a delay to the Longhouse housing, but I'm hoping that MACC will actually move fairly quickly. Now, the compensation, I don't agree with the figures that have been put forward. I have previously given my reasons, and Hannah has given her reasons. Basically, if you look at if there is a termination, and particularly where the land has not been developed at all, then the actual expenditure incurred is what will be, should form the basis for the compensation. And this is under the Federal Territory Planning Act, 1982. So, what have they spent on the land? That's something also that they will have to prove. It is not, it should not be an insurmountable amount. But, look, maybe I'm wrong. Let the AG give the advice on that. Who has been advising so far? I'm not so sure. So, let the AG give the advice on that. And I also believe that, I know YB Khalid has said, we are friends, I agree, we are friends. We all battled and fought and produced that golden result on the 9th of May, 2018. We stood shoulder to shoulder on a platform of transparency, integrity, and good governance. We fought together for that. And yes, we are friends. And I'm glad he has invited Cynthia and myself, and we will be going to see him. But this is not about friendship, as Hannah has said. It's not personal. And I can tell you, friends probably will hold you to a higher standard than they would anyone else. So we are holding you, YB Khalid, to a higher standard, because I know what we fought for. Certainly a higher standard than the last minister. So that is something that but as I say, to his credit, he has agreed to see us, and we will. And we will certainly make these points to him. What is the rush? So I think that a good move forward is to put the matter before Cabinet with all the facts. I think YB Hannah should be invited to make a presentation there, this presentation that has been so very useful. And at the end of the day, it is not a negotiation. I think that is what has to be very clear. It is not you give a little, we give a little. No, this is wrong from its inception. So there's no question of saving the baby at all. We need to battle to save every bit of the green lung in Kuala Lumpur. Do we need these apartments, these new condominiums? Do you need it? We don't in Kuala Lumpur. So why? Why do this, but at a heavy expense? I know there's construction going on. I know there are other projects that will carry on. It's good to stimulate the economy. You know, they say you must be pro-developer, etc., etc. But you can do all that without being anti-residents. Build it somewhere else, okay? Don't do it so that you encroach onto the green lung, making it difficult. So to say that the Taman Tun residents were unreasonable, I think was grossly unfair. You're not unreasonable at all. All you're saying is preserve what is enjoyed by the public. Don't cut it down. Don't make it difficult, because Hannah took me around just now to have a look at the site. And if this project goes on, it's going to be so congested because there's going to be parking issues, the access is going to be difficult, all of that. So at the end of the day, it doesn't lie in the mouth of the developer to tell you to be reasonable in giving up your green lung. That is not a reasonable request. So, as I say, my request to YB Khalid on Monday will be, you're not even considering the option of termination. You have already decided the compensation is excessive. Please get the AG's advice on the compensation, if you think I'm wrong, and look at the viable option of terminating that project. Because at the end of the day, if there is a choice between private interests and public interests, the choice is clear. Thank you.
Okay, and now representing the KL MPs, YB Fahmi Fadzil.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera, wamun penyo cacahau, saudara-saudari gile, vanakkam. Saya Fahmi Fadzil, ahli Parlimen Lebah Pantai. If I'm speaking a bit fast, it's because I have to run off after this to lodge a police report against the Ketua Pengarah of Yapim for threatening his staff before GE14. So I'm off after this. Saya berdiri di sini sebagai satu kenyataan konsisten menyokong sahabat saya ahli Parlimen Segambut dari mula. I have stood by the Member of Parliament of Segambut in Parliament. We have, you can check the handset. The handset is for all time. You can see what I have said in Parliament, that we need to review this project as how it was before. And we have this mechanism among KL MPs with the FT Minister, the Datuk Bandar, and the Ministry of Federal Territories, which is Majlis Menteri Wilayah, where it brings together all of the KL MPs. And I want to state here at our next KL MPs meeting with the FT Minister, which will be on the 27th of March, 27th of May, I forget what month it is. 27th of May, inshallah, I will raise this matter with the FT Minister, that we find it very difficult to support his position, that I think we have to seriously consider what has been put on the table by the Member of Parliament from Segambut. There are other KL MPs who are coming, but because it is Ramadan and it is a Saturday morning, I know that YB Prabhakaran has said that he's on his way. YB Nick Nazmi said he's supposed to be here. But the nature is, we had YB Lim Lip Eng and he had to run off, and then also, that's the nature of the work that we do. Cuma yang saya nak tekankan, sebenarnya saya berada di sini sebagai penyambung kepada pendirian yang telah diumum oleh ahli parlimen Lebah Pantai sebelum saya, YB Nurul Izzah. And she had been fighting this matter from before. And she has, in parliament as well, stated her objections to the proposal from the developer. In other words, among the MPs of Kuala Lumpur and among the MPs who understand and are cognizant of the facts regarding this project, there is solid support for the work of YB Hannah Yeoh. I look forward to hearing the result of the meeting between Cynthia Gabriel and Dato' Amiga with the FT Minister. To be clear, I myself had a meeting with the CEO of Yayasan Wilayah yesterday to hear for myself so that there can be no allegation that I'm not hearing. Yeah, I asked him to come to my office yesterday at 3:30. I extended an invitation to, actually YB Hannah Yeoh wanted to be there, but she couldn't. And he explained to me the position. And I took it without prejudice. And I've heard also the proposal that YB Hannah Yeoh has presented today. And I'd like to say that my belief, my position is, I trust YB Hannah Yeoh. To have the gumption, to have the tenacity, and to not be swayed, to stand as she does in this maelstrom, we have to acknowledge her bravery and her moral conviction. And if there is anyone who epitomizes the spirit of our fight to change the government before the 9th of May and into the early days of 9th of May, it is YB Hannah Yeoh. And so, this is starting to sound like a campaign speech. I'm not campaigning for YB Hannah Yeoh to be upgraded to a minister, but I think we've all seen her track record as a deputy minister. But my final parting words, I think what we have seen here today is an example of an attempt to be clear, to be transparent, to be accountable. And I think we can demand much better, much more from the Pakatan Harapan administration. So, ladies and gentlemen, for each of you who are here today, there may be many more who can't be here. My ardent hope, harapan saya, is that you will also be the carriers of what you have heard today. You must all, I believe what Hannah Yeoh said, you must all reach out to your MPs, to your ministers, to the Member of Parliament of Shah Alam, to say that you stand with YB Hannah Yeoh. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's it from me. All the very best. Inshallah, we will support the proposal from the Member of Parliament from Segambut. Terima kasih. Assalamualaikum.
Before I open up the space for people to ask questions, but don't ask me questions on behalf of other parties that I cannot answer why they want to do it a certain way. I want to invite Siva, who represents the second generation of Longhouse residents, to come and say something because they are directly impacted by this project. Second generation, not very young. You better tell them your age. They might think you're a young working adult or something. Come, Siva.
Firstly, to our YB Hannah. Actually, I didn't expect that I'll be on the stage here. YB Hannah invited me for this town hall. Basically, I'm the second generation of TTDI Longhouse, which I strongly disagree of the current project at TRK and TTDI Longhouse. Basically, what we want is, we want a better living standard for our next generation. I'm here not for fighting for me or for my mother, which is senior citizen now. My fight for the better living standard is for the next generation, which is for my grandchildren. Yeah. Currently, if let's say they encroach TRK, we don't have any grounds for my grandchildren to play around. Yeah. So most of our TTDI younger generations, we use the TRK for playing football, organized sports, this and that. So if let's say the development take place, we don't have any green lands or park for us to use up in future. Okay, then I touch on the YB Henna's plan that I'm strongly agreed on townhouses projects for our next generation. So I hope that YB Henna implement these townhouses projects for our people. It will be much more appreciated on behalf of our TTDI Longhouse residents. Thanks a lot, YB. Thanks to all.
Okay, now we can take some questions. Anyone? Yes, there's microphone in the middle. Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Good morning. My name is Anand Krishnan. I'm an architect living in Taman Rimba and working in Taman Rimba. I'd just like to raise three matters. Your presentation is very clear, and I hope it's well presented at the cabinet meeting. The first thing is this. If we look back at when did all this start, when did all this begin? And it all begins when Taman Rimba was changed, the land use was changed. So in other words, that is all that needs to be addressed really. Just to look at the legality or illegality of it, meaning to say that, was there a public consultation? Did they do all the due processes to get the land changed? It's a public land, and you cannot just change it to residential, or you cannot take half of it and do something else. So if the land is reverted back to the time before it was gazetted, and it wasn't gazetted for so long, and the BN government was using all open spaces as land banks. So if that can be established, that there was an illegality in making it residential, then Malton can't do anything. It's open space. So just revert it back to public open space. And then there's no need for compensation, there's no need for anything else. So that's my first point, to look at the land use matter. The second point is, you've already raised it, but I would like to raise it again, and I'd like to impress upon yourself and everyone else, that from an architectural point of view, as long as there's no construction, the only expenses that they have established or they've done is the hoarding and the design work. The design work, 2-3 people involved. What are the man hours? So if any payment needs to be made, that's all that needs to be paid. It doesn't come up to even 1 million. It doesn't even come up to maybe 700,000, you know? So that's the second point. The final point is this. And again, I feel that it's not, I mean, it's ignored or not understood fully, you know. If the government wants to give some crony of theirs some land bank, some land to build houses, condominiums, rich condominiums, they have so many other pieces of land throughout KL. The rest of Selangor, Malton can go and build somewhere else. They don't need to have this particular piece of land. So in other words, they got that land through illegal means. There's no expense that they need to be paid so much for, and they can be given something else. So I feel this needs to be impressed upon Mahathir, Tun and his cabinet. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Next person, please, sir. Yes, sir.
My name is Dr. Gunasidan. I think some of you have heard of me. I've been one of the biggest challenger to Tunku Adnan and now your minister, FD Minister for Perak Territory. I went on news, I've taken on BFMI and all that, and he has replied. I'm waiting for a session to reply him. That what he said. You see, what just now the gentleman raised is a pertinent point of view. The land use in that area has always been green. I've been living here since 1978. So you see, it has always been green. And I remember Dato' Manda saying something like, the land use value is very high. The land value is determined by town planners who change their land use from open space, green, to housing or residential. It is not just because the land is there. It is when they change. That is where the point which Khalid is quite smart. Tunku Adnan did not do it. The local plan for Kuala Lumpur has been changed from the plan that was designed by me during Raja Nongchik's time. During Raja Nongchik's time, the draft local plan for 2013 finalized was the green park in Kiara plus the Taman Rimba will always remain as a park, equivalent to the size and status of the Lake Gardens of Kuala Lumpur. Equal status. If you look at the structure plan for Kuala Lumpur, it states very, I've indicated a plan where it shows all that. He is wrong to have changed it and to gazette the 2015 plan. I've told him so. He's still adamant enough to say that he's right. Never mind what to do. Powers that has to be, they have the powers to say so, but they're wrong. I'm sure Dr. Ambiga, if reads the Federal District Planning Act, will clearly know that the amendments that he did to the 2013 to 2015 should have gone through public process before it's gazetted. He did not do that. In an affidavit which I have written, I've drawn a flowchart showing where that portion of the Federal Territory Planning Act of 1982 has not been adhered to. I don't have the resources to take them to court, but that is the way it is. It is clearly stated. So he is in the wrong side of the law. That is, if we have perpetrating action. One. Number two, another avenue which I am looking at is under the National Town and Country Planning Act of 1976, which is a federal territory, which is for all other states other than DBKR. There is a provision which says National Physical Planning Council, which is chaired by the Prime Minister, Tun Mahathir himself. I know Tun quite well, but he has refused to answer my calls. So you say, it is there.
Yeah.
I have spoken to DG of town, my former staff. I retired as Deputy Director General. The former staff, she says, I don't have local standard to raise any issue. To take to the National Physical Planning Council, it must be by a government agency. It has been taken to her as Secretariat she will table a paper to National Physical Planning Council, which is supposed to meet every 3-4 months. Instead of going to cabinet, I think National Physical Planning Council is much of safest place. Because those people are all technical people. There are no cabinet members there. Other than PM and the FT minister, I think it will be only the Minister of Housing. There's no politicians to play game. So what I'm suggesting is, if YB Hana, in a tenacity to do things, she can attempt to meet the DG for Federal Town and Country Planning. Her name is Dato' Rokiba. See whether she can bring a paper like this to the National Physical Planning Council, which is set by Tun. One. Number two, the other question which was raised, compensation to be paid to the developer. The guy was right. The Federal Planning Act of 1982 states very clearly the formula when you revoke a planning permission. City Hall has got the power to revoke. They can revoke based on many reasons. All right? And there is a very clear cut from, there's no formula to pay 100 million or few hundred billion on incomes not earned at all. It is clearly states so. Very clear. All right? Number two, the last one, last point of view is, I'm appealing to the 13 MPs of Federal Territory. Don't hide. Let's face the fact that you represent the 1.7 million people in Kuala Lumpur. You don't represent the 35-odd million people outside. You represent us. We want you to speak openly, bravely, with the tenacity that YB Hana used. Because open space, you see, there is a move to say that any land that is surrendered to the government for open space, green park, or whatever form, if after so many years it's not used, it reverts back to the government. It gives the power to the local authority to sell off the land as they wish. It becomes federal territory land. I don't know how long it takes, but MPPJ is quite smart. They've amended the law. The local plan states very clearly in their local plan, any public spaces that have been surrendered to the government and for public purpose, if it is not used in the next 3 years, it reverts back to the local planning authority, and they have to maintain the status of the land. It is stated in the local plan for MPPJ 2. Things like that should be looked at.
Okay.
I think to YB Hana, the best answer is look at the National Physical Planning Council.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Just to answer very quickly, our local plan for Kuala Lumpur has been gazetted, and in Segambut, they have a list of violation attached to it. 29 in Segambut. Taman Rimba Kiara development is listed as one of the violations gazetted. Yes. Next.
Okay. Good morning. My name is Veronica Francis. I'm actually representing Rumah Panjang, Taman Rumah Panjang, to talk for the residents. Thank you very much, YB, for organizing this public briefing. We really appreciate. And Dato' Ambiga is here. Thank you so much for our Lembah Pantai MP. He's also here. Thank you. It's a very good day today to have all of you all here. At least all of you will know about what is happening in Rumah Panjang. I think all of you all actually know, but I have to say this again. You see, Rumah Panjang people are the pioneer people in this Taman Tun area before even all these roads and the houses and all that was developed. But that time, they were relocated. They are from estate workers. They were relocated here and have been given empty promise by our previous government. And this time, Pakatan Harapan is here. I really, really hope they will have a better living. You know, they have been having this heartache for many, many, many years. You see their houses, every house, when it rains, it drips. In the bedroom, in middle of the night, at 12 o'clock or 2 o'clock when they are sleeping, the water comes in. My mother-in-law is from there. I live in Damansara Utama. She passed away a week ago, and we were doing her rites when suddenly it rained. So the whole kitchen was raining. We have to put pails, this and that. It's very sad, you see. So putting aside this MACC and all that, I know there's a procedure to go through. I understand because I'm also a property agent. I'm a property agent for past 27 years. I know how this developer works, what are their interests, why they want to develop. For them, just to develop, take their money and that's it. They just go missing. And whoever buys the property, they have to struggle. It's not easy to rent out nowadays. A lot of people who buy this area, they will buy for investment. They are looking at rental return and all that. But at the end of the day, the bank loans is very high. The maintenance and all that, all this, they have to look into it. So these developers, they will blindly sell and they move on. But my question here is, why drag Rumah Panjang residents into all these issues? Already they have sore hearts, now mentally tortured with all this. So I know, I understand, I fully understand this will take very long because it's going to MACC. And our Pakatan Harapan government cannot just concentrate on this alone. They got a lot of things to do. But my request, YB Hana, is my humble request to you, please do it ASAP because they really need houses badly. Every house is leaking, the toilet cannot be flushed, the roof is leaking, even my mother-in-law's house, because we had a lot, the coffin is so heavy, and we had a lot of people came into the house and the floor is a wooden floor and it just sink. Then my brother-in-laws all, they have to put I don't know what they put to push the thing up, and we are having another major ritual rites on next Wednesday, and this is going to happen again. I told my husband, why don't we do it outside? We put a canopy, but they say cannot. We have to do this in the house because that is the Hindu rites. So my humble request again, please look into this ASAP. They need houses badly. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yes.
YB, I was a former secretary of RA here, and I'm here today now because Dato' Ambika said if you have any additional information, pass to me. I think I have some information. The people staying in the longhouse were not there all the time. They were happily staying in an estate nearby where now golfers and cricketers taken over. When the Dewan Bahasa, our local council took over the land, it was taken over for public use. For public use. The mayor had the authority under the act to do that and paid the owner of the estate very small sum. After taking over, under authority of the Local Council Act, which empowers the mayor to convert anything to anything. That provision came after 1970. You look at it. Before that, cannot. After 1970, the government gave so much power to the mayor, he can convert any land to any land. So he took it over as a land for public use and paid so little as a compensation. After that, converted it for commercial use and sold it for golf and everything else. That itself is wrong morally, if not legally. And number two, these poor people were happily there and they were sent here and they say, we'll solve your problem. Now, the problem now solved. So you have to touch on the original history, how they landed up in this position. Why did they take over as a land for public use and then convert it for commercial use on authority and vested under the Local Council Act? That is immoral. Now, they have done this. The others you have spoken enough. I must conclude myself. I think YB NIO is doing a wonderful job. I'm impressed with what you did. You're going the right track. My only worry is, as the lady here said, don't too long. It's leaking now the roof. It might collapse. So.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Good morning. My name is T.K. Chua. I'm a resident of Taman Tun. My question is this. I understand that this issue is now going to be referred to the cabinet. And as far as I can guess, cabinet made decision not based on majority. Most probably they will make decision based on who is more influential or more powerful within the cabinet. So my question is, my inkling is this, that most probably cabinet will approve, will favor the development, even though it is a scaled down one. So how do we foresee this issue is going to be resolved going forward? I think that cabinet will favor this development. So what is our plan next?
Sorry. Yeah, behind. Good morning, wonderful people from the new government. You have given and restored our faith in the new Malaysia. I am speaking on behalf of a lot of us here, especially the Taman Tun residents. We thank you all for coming to rally behind our cause, which we have been fighting hard for the past 3 years. I have only one request to make. I understand you're seeing the FT Minister on Monday. That's good of him to actually reach out now. The question I would like you all to ask him is, since we all know that Yayasan Wilayah Persekutuan is actually a private company masquerading and playing charades as a noble foundation, ask him why hasn't he and the mayor stepped down from being chairman and members of the board. It is so obvious that he is in a conflicted position, and if he wants to objectively do the job as FT Minister, step aside on Monday.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. YB, my name is Haji Ahmad Tajuddin. I have been a resident in Taman Tun for almost 40 years. That would qualify me to say something. First and foremost, I would like all of us here to give a thunderous clap to all these three. Thank you, fellow residents. Now, you have said a lot of things already. It's all clear for us now. The only thing I understand, you are going to see the chairman of Yayasan Wilayah on Monday. Now, his stand, as I see from his Facebook, number one, he said, dia mewarisi, that means he had inherited this problem. It is not his problem. It is this must be considered very carefully. He will say that it's not my problem. He's trying to save us from this problem. Number two, he said that he used the word kita. When during his speech, he's kita, that means him. He got involved already. Kita means himself now. Number three, he said that we here, we don't own that land. We don't own that land. That part doesn't belong to us. That's what he said. It belongs to Yayasan, part of it anyway. He said that there's a legal owner, there is a DO given out. So he's taking it from there. So when you see him, you see this chairman of Yayasan, if you start from there, then he is on the right track. He is on the right track because he said, this land belongs to Yayasan, we have a joint venture, we got agreement, we got DO, the order has been given. He takes from there. What you should do, I think, I'm suggesting, is you have to go beyond that. Beyond that. And then he'll be cornered. He said that, where's the money? The money, where's the money? You, the developer pays the money, refund the money lah. So simple only. And then if you want to refund 115 million, the developer has got to justify that. Where's the receipt? Who you pay to? You pay to the, what they call it, consultant for 100 million? What kind of consultant is this? 115 million gone. 70,000 is they pay for the renovation. Is that true or not? You have to find out this kind of thing. So make him on the defensive side. Don't start from the DO, because if you start from DO, you say, I got the DO here. I'm the minister, what can I do? No, the DO is given. Go beyond the DO, like what Dato' Ambaga is saying. So that's about it. One more, I've got this saying from Shakespeare, all these three ladies. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
And they are facing this battle. What Shakespeare said is, hell has no fear when a lady is gone.
Thank you. Actually, all the questions I've asked before already in that multiple meeting. There's no questions that I've not asked. Okay, next. Yeah.
My name is Nick Najib. I'm from Kelantan. Number two, small confession. Last year, in 2008 election, it's the first time that I voted for the opposition. And mainly it's because of Yeoh. Because she has a good track record in Selangor. Number three, all my life I've been fighting kemungkaran, misgovernance and whatever. I used to work in MOF. I used to work in the bank and also international bank. And I've been fighting, and of course, you suffer the consequence in the sense that promotion is slow and whatnot. Number four, I fully support the cause. And this cause goes beyond race, creed, or color. I have been a resident of Taman Tun for the past, I should say, 30, 40 years. I'm now the 7th series. And do not doubt, because as far as I'm concerned, we are talking about issues, not race. And we know our brothers, Indian community, have been suffering for the past, 30 years. And I'm sad that the government, past government, not only Najib and what have you, but they have neglected this law. Number five, just two more points. My comment, the lack of presence of Amanah and Bersatu.
They are here. They are here in the MPP chairman for Segambut. We have Bersatu represented.
My apologies.
Amanah, PKR also here.
Yeah.
Yes.
But we should show solidarity beyond party.
Yeah.
And it is a government of Pakatan Harapan.
Yeah.
The last point, this is something that, there's a lack of acknowledgement on the chairman of the mosque committee was here. And yesterday was Friday, before the sermon, there was a big announcement about today's session. And there was no acknowledgement to the mosque.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the last two. Is that okay? Yeah.
Hi, good morning. My name is Chong Fu King. I've been a resident of Taman Tun since 1995. I think from what has been presented by YB and others, I think it's a fabulous presentation as far as the Taman Rimba Kiara is concerned. The one thing I'd like to commend, no doubt you have a meeting scheduled coming Monday to meet with the YB Khalid. I think we need to go beyond that. This issue of Taman Rimba Kiara is more than just the land issue, homes for the longhouse residents for all these years. But I think it needs to go beyond that. This is an emotional issue as well as the well-being of the KL people. You know, Taman Rimba Kiara is so important. It's one of those small little green lung besides the Bukit Kiara hills that we have. So to take away this couple of acres of land, I think is totally unacceptable. It's wrong. You know, just a few days ago, our Prime Minister has mentioned something about the land deals, you know, on the Ministry of Defense. What we need to do is to do the right thing. Do what is good for the people. That's why there was a change in government. You know, if we keep going, doing the wrong thing, I think that is not the right way for a progressive nation. We need to do what is right. So I hope, besides meeting the YB FT Minister, I think in a small group for the people concerned, like YB Yeoh, Dato' Ambika, Gabriel, and maybe the people concerned, maybe TTDI, RA, you know, the members and other NGOs, and also the people concerned, we should have a quiet session with our PM, Tun Dr. Mahathir, because years ago, when there was no Taman Rimba Kiara even, it was just a wetland countryside. I used to bring my kids along, and I bumped into our PM on horse riding when he was young, when he was much younger. We wish him good morning and so on. He looks well and fit. So he has very fond memories of not just Taman Rimba Kiara, but the Kiara Hills as well. So I think in all honesty, deep down in his heart, if you have a quiet session, we can go beyond this issue of the land deal, the yayasan and whatever. Go back to what is the basic, what is good for the people. And the most important thing is do the right thing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Last one.
Hello, thank you, YB Hannah. My name is Dr. Kribben. I wear several hats. First, of course, I'm a resident of Taman Tun. I've been here since the early 90s. I'm also an engineer. I run an engineering company, and I was quite instrumental in the technical solutions we've been looking at for this longhouse development. And the third hat I wear is I'm also the president of the Friends of Bukit Kiara. I'd like to start with that last point first. As Friends of Bukit Kiara, we've been trying to gazette, or have this whole Green Lung gazetted. And of course, TRK is a small part of that whole entity which was actually taken over by government for public purpose. Originally, there was 1,500 acres. Now there's only 400 acres left in Bukit Kiara, and there's 25 acres, which is Taman Rimba. Now, the FT minister in his last interview at the press conference said to the effect that, hey, what's such a big deal losing this 25 acres when we have, what he mentioned, 370 acres in Bukit Kiara left. But the point is, firstly, I don't know where he got the 370 because we have always been talking about 400 acres which has been left. But the first point is that that piece of land, the Bukit Kiara, has not been gazetted, right? And if we lose the 25 acres, it's the start of that whole rot. We have already lost a third of this green lung, and we cannot afford to lose any more. That's the first point. The second hat I wear is one of a technical nature, and YB, you showed some excellent pictures of the solution we came up with, the townhouse development with the architects, AXA architects. But this didn't come out of the blues. This wasn't our imagination. We spent time with the community. We had dialogues to see what they wanted, and this was the outcome of that process. So let's be clear. It didn't come out of our pipe dreams, We actually consulted, and this is what came out of it. And I think it's an excellent solution. It will not impact our Taman Tun in any way. And, we really need to start to push, I think, that as the final solution, because anything else is whatever we say, even if it's a reduced, scaled-down version, there is no way we are going to be able to manage with the traffic and all the other things which are going to happen here. My final hat, of course, is as a resident of Taman Tun, and as a Hindu in Taman Tun, as an Indian, we use that temple every day. I mean, my late mother was alive. We used to go there every day because she wanted to go to that temple. She felt that was a very serene place. And so we've always been together with the Longhouse community. There's no us and them. I think that we have to be very clear. And the fact that the Taman Tun community here has come up, those of us who are on the other side, the so-called elite divide, have come across and come together to be able to help and to do whatever we have done in the last couple of years, has been because of that community spirit. There's no them and us. We want a solution for the Longhouse community here which will be sustainable, which will fit in with the environment we are living in here, and hopefully we can move forward with that with your assistance and with the rest of your team and the KLMPs. Thank you.
Thank you. Before
Just
that, I just want to
you can
acknowledge.
time me.
Yeah, it's okay. I just want to acknowledge the presence of the Member of Parliament for Batu, our youngest MP, YB Prabhakaran, who's also here to support us. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you, YB Hannah, for giving me a... You can time me 1 minute.
Okay.
No more.
Okay.
I'm Mrs. Chi. I've been staying here for 40 years and over.
when I first came, as somebody has said earlier, it was pristine, and we could walk all over the hills. And I am here to show my strong support for the longhouse dwellers, because my helper, who has been with me as long as I've been staying here, I have been to her place many times, and I've seen how difficult the environment is. Small room, and when it's afternoon, it's so hot because of the zinc roofing. So I believe that the whole team, YB, Dato' Ambiga, and Leon, the very effective Safe Taman Rimba spokesman, he has done a great job. Our RA and the whole team, I think I have great faith that you will carry the battle forward. So I just, and I hope that all of you here will show some visual support. Go and visit the park more often. So create more activity. Because when I go there in the morning, it's quite deserted. So we have to give some sort of conviction that we love the park. We want to save the park. So although nothing can bring back the splendor of the grass, the glory in the flowers, we will not grieve, but we will fight on to save Taman Rimba.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, final one. Yes, sir. Yes.
Good morning. A couple of things. Number one, YB Hanayo, congratulations. I have followed the PH, before PH, from Keadilan. We voted for 3 times now. So finally, you're now on stage, and now we're beginning to see your colors. So congratulations, you presented an excellent. However, I might even nominate you as Minister of the Year. You can take over Tabung Haji. You can take over Feldar. You can take over Malaysian Airlines. We need people like you. And I think, follow from Dato' Ambiaga, please continue with your display of excellence to a number of your ministers who Tunda says are still at license. Because it's taking too long. 12 months have passed, come to pass. Too long. You only got 4 more years. At this rate, many of the promises cannot be delivered by virtue of the logistics. You know, so tell your fellow ministers, hey, get your buckle up. You know, we're old enough to see people who works and people who doesn't work and people who bullshit. The FT minister is just one of them. He's supposed to be with the public. That's why they say power sometimes can corrupt. Please do tell a minister in the light of Dato' Ambiaga. Spread your words among your fraternity. Number 2, we don't have time to wait. 1 year, I would agree with the gentleman earlier. Your presentation is good, it's micro. And the people in Longhouse, how long do you have them to wait? But I understand, please correct me, this thing starts from illegality. Something which is illegal cannot be made legal. Therefore, this deal must be, what is the word? A repeal, a reverse, a kicked out, get it out. So you don't have to argue about this. You know, it's illegal. The changing of the land title, you know, the seemingly corrupt practices, get rid of it. You know? And if the righteous people who are now concerned, we should all be up and up. This minister doesn't sound honest, I am sorry to say. I use the park for my exercise. Now, my children want to use the park. And what are they going to do? Climb up the 40-story steps for exercise in the morning? They can't do that no more. Number three, what I'm saying is that those corrupt people that took this thing before the previous government, put them behind bars. Do it quickly. We are fed up. We voted for you because you want to fight for us. I waited for 20 years, right? Please, we ain't got much time. For your children, for their grandchildren, all right? So please, YB Hana, you've got a lot of power. Push it. And you tell your fellow men, friends can be friends, but you don't have to agree with them. Your quotation is wonderful. That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
And finally, one final word. You know, I'm sorry to say, I'm not a racist, you know. My wife is a non-Malay. Indian. Where are the Malay people?
They're all here.
No.
They are here in front.
Where are the, you know, we want powerful Malays to come up and say, I can't take this. You know, this is for my race. Even Yang Mat Berhormat Dr. Mahathir says, I'm sad to say that my race is poor in my own country. So Malays, take some action. Get up. Stop this development. Okay? You got to do something. You just can't sit there and lie back. I don't want you to be like Donald Trump, but get up. Get up. Thank you very much, YB. All the best. All the best to you.
Okay. I just want to correct what the sir has said just now about Rimba Kiara. Rimba Kiara is not touched. Don't worry. The steps, that's Rimba Kiara. Yeah. Okay. I want to bring this town hall to a close. I want to say thank you because it's actually a long weekend. Many people are away, but we have full house here today. That shows that you are really concerned about this battle and you have made yourself available. I also want to thank really Pakatan Harapan Segambut who have shown up all here. Parti Bersatu Segambut, Parti PKR Segambut, Amanah Segambut, together with us and the MPs and the NGO and the civil society. Thank you so much, and for media also. I don't think I'll be able to do another town hall like that because it's not cheap to put up this screen so that you can see clearly. But we will keep you posted. Everything that we do, we'll always update so that you have a clear picture. But I presented to you the options, and now those of you who know cabinet ministers, please do talk to them. Youth minister, because this is for the next generation of Malaysians, the Green Lung. So it's important that you make your opinion known. So with that, I thank everybody and have a safe weekend. Thank you.